Dr. Eric Stofman is a graduate of Drew University and Logan College of Chiropractic. In 1977, he was awarded the prestigious Fellowship of the International Chiropractic Pediatric Association. His purpose in his own practice and with this workshop is to continuously share the core values of wellness, abundance, and empowerment. In 2005, his book, You Are Not Your Diagnosis, was published and gave him the opportunity to travel around the country, where he has conducted over 750 workshops, speaking to audiences as intimate as 10 and as large as 1,000. Isn't it wonderful, though, when the teacher becomes the student? After decades of struggling with his own weight, one day a caring patient took the time to introduce him to Take Shape for Life. Dr. Stofman followed her advice and coaching and lost over 30 pounds in 10 weeks. And for the first time in his life, he has been able to keep it off. He quickly realized that the patients deserve the same opportunity. Serving now as a national director with Take Shape for Life, he has been able to coach his patients and other health professionals as they have lost thousands of pounds and finally realized the promise of optimal health. As you help me welcome him here this afternoon, if he doesn't share this powerful story of his about breaking bad habits, I will never forgive him. Please help me welcome my health coach, Dr. Eric Stofman.
So I think I have about 35 minutes to turn that into a standing ovation. So I will do my best. And as Carol said, there are so many familiar faces in the room. Actually, some people here from throughout my life and other branches of my tree. So I'm thrilled that you're all here. So let me introduce you to our speaker today. That's my before picture, which I carry around with me a lot. And by a show of hands, how many of you have ever set any goals in your life, ever? Right? Excellent. And how many of you have reached some of those goals? Right? Great. And you know, sometimes that I'm doing this workshop and I ask that question and somebody says, well, I never reached any goal. I never met anything. And that's a bunch of hooey, because you tied your shoes this morning, right? There was a time in your life where you didn't know how to tie your shoes. You drove your car here. There was a time in your life where you didn't know how to drive your car. There was a time in your life where you didn't know how to get dressed or sign your name. And it's just a set of skills that you put together and had a desired outcome. Yes? Right? So how many of you have ever set goals before and you didn't reach them? Welcome to the human race, right? So really what we're going to be talking about today has nothing to do with weight loss, or maybe it does. It has nothing to do with finances, or maybe it does. It has nothing to do with our relationships, or maybe it has everything to do with our relationships or how we are in our community. As we create our lives and we build these underlying structures in our lives, we really have two choices. We could create underlying structures that have the structure of a rocking chair, right? Goes up and back, goes up and back. So how many people don't realize, I was going to have you raise your hands. How many people feel like your business maybe has reached certain goals, but then it, don't raise your hands, and then it pulls back, right? And then you have a certain savings in your bank account, and then the dishwasher breaks, right? And then it goes back. You have a certain quality of relationships, right? And then all of a sudden there's a fire to put out, right? That's the underlying structure of a rocking chair, as opposed to the underlying structure of a skateboard. Right? And when you push a skateboard, there's no resistance, right? It just goes. Make sense? So the underlying structure of a skateboard is different than the underlying structure of a rocking chair. By the way, which one's good and which one's bad? Just a judgment, right? Maybe you want to relax in a rocking chair. If you want to relax in a rocking chair, should you be sitting on a skateboard? No, someone's going to get hurt, right? And if you pull a skateboard, let's say by goals or leadership or getting out ahead of it, if you pull that skateboard, when does that ever stop? It never stops. So what I'm going to share with you today is that whether it's finances or whether it's health or whether it's your business or whether it's your relationships, we all have this choice to create an underlying structure for continual advancement. If you are involved in a venture that you want to keep moving forward and set new goals and new goals and new goals, but the underlying structure is a rocking chair, and you push it by hard work, go like this, hard work, right? It's going to move back, it's going to move up, and it's going to move back. If you pull that rocking chair, like I said, boom, somebody's going to get hurt. So what we're going to do today, and in your folders today on the left side, and some of you have already found it, on the left side of your folders is a blank piece of paper. And there are 3 ways to get information into your nervous systems. As a doctor of chiropractic, my focus is all about your nervous system. How do we get new information in? Most of us, 65% of us, are what type of learners? Visual learners, right? So there will be a recording, a video of today, but at the moment, if you're a visual learner, you better put pen to paper because that's going to be your visual record of today, yes? Right? What's the second way, like I am, right? An auditory learner takes me 20 minutes to say hello, right? I never shut up. If you're an auditory learner, you better be putting pen to paper because we're not going to have a recording of this available right away for you to listen to in your car ride home. But email me, I'll get you the recording, okay? And what if you're the third way where you actually have to touch? What type of learner is that? Visual, auditory, and kinesthetic, right? So if you're a kinesthetic learner, you better be putting pen to paper. So who does that leave out who needs to write stuff down today? Right? So who needs to write stuff down today? Go like this. Okay? Absolutely. So here's our structure. So on your blank piece of paper that's on the left side of your folder, you could write this staircase. Because if I share with you that there's people in this room that have lost 100 pounds on our program, or if there's people that lost 50 pounds on this program, or if there are people here who have been able to amass, who have financial freedom in their life that are sitting in this room right now, there's something that you're saying about, well, it's far, right? It's so far. I can never create that, whatever that is in my life, because it's far. Well, I got to tell you, it ain't far, right? And we're going to spend the next 25 minutes laying out this underlying structure that is an advancing structure, that is not a rocking chair, but it's actually a skateboard. And if you push it, it's going to go pretty far. But if you get out ahead of it and have some goals and have some plans and have some intentions of how to move this forward, it never ends. Say it never ends. It never ends. So I wrote a book about my dad. And every single workshop, see, it took me 10 minutes to do the introduction. I haven't even started the workshop yet. In most workshops, I read this poem because it came from a workshop not unlike this, where people took out pen to paper, and their final assignment was to take out a 5x7 card, and in a half hour's time, in 30 minutes, write your autobiography on a 5x7 card in 30 minutes. And this is the one that came up to the podium, and it actually turned into a whole book and a whole series. It says, Chapter 1 of my life. I walk down the street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I fall in. I am hopeless. I am lost. It's not my fault. It takes forever to find a way out. Chapter 2, I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I pretend I don't see it. I fall in again. I can't believe I'm in the same place. But it isn't my fault. It takes me a long time to get out. Chapter 3. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. Everybody say no. Right? Same street, right? What are the chances of the hole being there? Say 100%. 100%. I still fall in. It's a habit. My eyes are open. I know where I am. It's my fault. Go like this one more time, all you kinesthetics in the room, right? The visual people are like, why is he doing that? The kinesthetics know what I'm talking about. You touch your chest. By the way, everybody point to yourself right now. Did anybody go like this? Right? So what makes us up? Is it a heart thing? How many of us know that what we need to do to be healthy in our lives? How many people know it? Do we need any more information? What is the age we live in? The information age. We don't need any more information. It's not a this thing. It's a this thing. Chapter 4. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I walk around it. Chapter 5. I walk down a different street. The mere fact that you carved out a couple hours of your time on a beautiful Tuesday afternoon to come to this workshop, who knows what you wanted to get out of it? Maybe it was just some networking. Maybe it was a free lunch. Everybody say, yeah, free lunch. It wasn't free for me. But I'm glad you enjoyed it. Wasn't it awesome? I don't know what your why is and why you're here. But if you have to think about all of the things that had to happen and the coincidences and the synchronicity and the relationships and how did I get on this mailing list anyway? When I got the first networking exchange email, I'm like, first of all, who's this guy Keith, right? And how does he have my email, that stinker? But I got to tell you that 90% of success is showing up. 90% of success is showing up. You're probably already thinking about people. You know who needs to be here to hear this? I wish she was here. Well, somebody's going to win that book today. We're going to do a raffle at the end, okay? And then we're going to have an opportunity where that person can actually hear this message. And it'll be my pleasure to do that. Wherever 2 or more people are gathered, I'll come to do a lunch and learn. So we're going to create this underlying structure. Everybody ready for the actual presentation now? Okay. So what's it? Input. So write on your papers, visual, auditory, and kinesthetic people, put pen to paper. Leave no stone unturned. The first thing is the input that's going into your nervous system on a second-by-second basis, on a minute-to-minute basis, on a day-by-day basis. That is your environment. What books are you reading? What audios are you listening to in the car? Whom are you spending time with? Who's on your board of directors? Maybe you're brand new in business and you don't have a board of directors, okay? But a board of directors, there's a problem, right? And the chairperson of the board goes like this, if you're my board. There's the problem. Talk amongst yourselves. Who is on your board of directors? And you're going to hear me quote a lot of people who are on my board of directors. Number 1 being my dad. He needed a book written about him. There's a lot of people on my board of directors. Carol and Ron are on my board of directors. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Bonnie Nattel's on my board of directors. She doesn't even know that. But Bonnie could go into a company and talk to them about how to reorganize their energy usage. And then, oh, by the way, they probably need some new light bulbs, but Bonnie doesn't sell light bulbs. Right? Not in the light bulb business. But the people probably need some new light bulbs. But we're not in the light bulb business. And I'm not in the meal replacement business with Take Shape for Life. I don't sell meal replacements. It has nothing to do with the food. Go like this. It's got nothing to do with the food. I don't sell bars. We're creating an advancing structure to allow you to create health in your life. That's what this workshop's all about. So connected to that handout, oh, I forgot this picture. These guys are on my board of directors. That is an orangutan holding and cuddling with a hound dog. Yes? These 2 animals were abused in the environment that they were in. How many people do we know that were raised in abusive or dangerous environments, right? But they were put together by coincidence. And now they are inseparable. One of my people on the board of directors is Wayne Dyer, and he always talks about the book that he threatens to write is going to be called Your Friends Are God's Way of Apologizing for Your Family. I'll let that settle in. Your friends. We are the average of the 5 people with which we hang out most. I'll say it with improper grammar. We are the average of the 5 people that we hang around with most. Financially, do the math. Well, I pretty much am right in the middle. Health-wise, relationship-wise, faith-wise, we're pretty much the average of the 5 people we hang around with most. So you really have 2 choices. You can either change your friends or change your friends. See, you could be the change you want to see in the world. That's what Gandhi said. Write that down. Be the change I want to see in the world. Who does it start with? So. Yeah. It starts with the person in the mirror. So you'll hear more about my board of directors, but the orangutan hugging the hound dog is one of my favorite images, because who gets to choose what input is going in? Who gets to choose that? I do. Yes. Who gets to choose the books you read and the audios you're listening to? By the way, turn off the fucking news, okay? Because if you watch one channel a little bit higher up on the dial, you will get like this, and you will come into my office with TMJ and tension headaches and carpal tunnel and irritable bowel and chronic fatigue. And then if you go a little bit down further in the channel and you watch that channel, you're going to go like this. And you're going to have chronic fatigue and TMJ and fibromyalgia and headaches, and just shut off the news. Become informed, see how that might affect your underlying structure, but please do not buy in. Please do not buy in. By the way, whose choice is it whether you buy into the news on one channel or the other? Your choice. So this is connected. Turn the page, because this is connected. And this is just an example, a schematic for you visual people to get your brains around this thing, of the bio network. Because it is the job of a Take Shape for Life health coach to surround the community and the people and my patients with other people who want more for them than they even know to want for themselves. I'll say that again. Surround yourself with people who want more for you than you even know to want for yourself. By the way, and be one of those people who wants more for others than you even want for yourself. By the way, I want a lot for myself. But I don't know you, but I want more for you. And I want more for you. I want a lot more for you. Be a person. You know, there's two types of people. Some people walk into the room and they light up the room when they walk in. And other people light up the room when they leave. Okay? Don't be one of those people. Okay? Who's on your board of directors? When you turn on the web, when you turn on the internet, you go, your landing page, your favorites could be this website. You ready? Write this down. Under the virtual clinic. The virtual clinic, write this down, www.supportcallsonline.com. Supportcallsonline. Supportcallsonline.com. And you can actually listen in to the last 3 or 4 months of support calls of hundreds of thousands of people who are just trying to create health in their life themselves. They're all going like this. By the way, how's the current state of our organized healthcare system going these days? Right? It's not about health, it's not about care, and it's not a system. Okay? It is bankrupting and crushing. You know what the number one, I'm giving it away, the number one cause of personal bankruptcy is in this country? Words matter. I asked the question, this is how important words are. I asked what the number one cause of personal bankruptcy is, and some people said healthcare. No, no, no. Healthcare is cheap. Healthcare is a salad instead of a Big Mac. Healthcare is parking in the far parking spot. Healthcare is taking the stairs instead of the escalator. That's healthcare. Healthcare doesn't cost anything. Medical intervention of disease management is very expensive and unaffordable. Is that a word? I just made it up. Okay? So, here's some more input. Once you make the choice, don't write this. Once you make the choice to be healthy, you've made it your business to act in accordance with your goal. You're taking full responsibility. Whose responsibility is it of what input's going in? Right? Yours, ours, mine. For your actions, rather than letting circumstances drive your decisions, you become the author of your own life story. Most of us have been raised to react to circumstances. We haven't been taught to believe that we can adopt a fundamental self-generated resolve. But in fact, this is how we take charge of our lives. By realizing that no matter the circumstances, no matter the temptation, we could do what we know is right because we've taken a stand for the choices we hold most important. Never in my chiropractic life did I ever think a stinking medical doctor would be on my board of directors. But some of my best friends are medical doctors. So somebody's going to win this book today. This is called The Habits of Health. And Dr. Wayne Anderson was a critical care physician, the 10th board certified critical care physician in the country. And in 20 years in the ICU, training other residents and developing technology, he noticed over 20 years that his patients in the ICU were getting heavier and heavier and heavier. And they were walking in, being wheeled into the ICU, sicker and sicker and sicker. And it didn't matter how good he was as an intensivist. Everybody was dying. And that's my dad's story, too. My dad had cancer, but he didn't die of cancer. He died of surgery. He went into the surgery feeling fine, no symptoms. I thought I was prejudiced before, now I'm pissed, right? When you show up at a sales networking meeting, here's another book that you should know, Start with Why. Start with Why. Simon Sinek, S-I-N-E-K. Start with why. How much of the last 5 slides have been about my why? All of them. Simon Sinek, S-I-N-E-K. Start with why. Okay, thoughts. Turn the page back to the blank page. Next book, Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning. S-I-N-E-K. Start with why. Next book, under thoughts, Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning. Viktor Frankl survived the Nazi concentration camp and realized very early on that they could make him do anything. They could make him say anything. But what could they never do? They could never get behind his eyeballs and think his thoughts. Do you have any influence over anybody else's thoughts? Say no. As soon as you think you can influence anybody to do anything, you're done. You can't. Thoughts. Hamlet. What have you, my good friends, deserved at the hands of fortune that she sends you to a prison hither? Guildenstern. Prison, my lord? Denmark's a prison. Then is the world one? A goodly one, in which there are many confines, wards, and dungeons, Denmark being one of the worst. We think not so, my lord. Why then 'tis none to you, for there is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. To me, it's a prison. Who's right? Both. Both right. Two people come together that have opposite opinions. Who's right? It's just a judgment. It's just a judgment. And when you judge people, you don't define them. You define yourself as someone who needs to judge people. If you need to categorize and label and separate people from other people, then you reveal yourself as someone who needs to separate and define and judge. So somebody on my board of directors, his name's Noah, he'll be 9 this month. You'll see a picture of him at the end. When he was 3, 4, and 5, and somebody would come up to us to say hello, he would kind of go behind my leg, right? And people would say, oh, he's shy. No. No. Maybe he just thinks you're a person who lights up the room when you leave. Maybe he's just holding up a mirror to you. Calling him shy doesn't make him shy. It makes you a person who needs to label him as shy because you don't quite understand his behavior at that moment. Seek first to understand, then what? Then to be understood. So maybe he just thinks you're a total ass and he doesn't want to be with you. When you call a child stupid, it doesn't make them stupid. You are not your diagnosis is the name of the book. Don't ever let anybody put labels on you that you live down to. Nobody gets to define you or label you with anything. You get labeled with a diagnosis, sign language. Thoughts. Focus. Input, thoughts, focus. I'm going to show you a picture of two people standing on a beach. It's a rocky beach. There are big boulders to their left. An island, it's a very serene lake with an island out to the left with palm trees. It's like Lake George or Lake Placid or some calm, rocky New England shore. No children in the picture at all. Say, yeah, right? They're at summer camp. They're in college. Yes, okay? Scholarship. So I'm going to show you this picture of these two people standing on a beach under a tree looking out at this water. Okay? So you see the people. I'll highlight the people. You see the rocks and the water and the trees. Raise your hand when you see the baby. Just don't call it out. Just raise your hand when you see the baby. Raise your hand when you see the baby. Under focus, you see it? You with me? Everybody with me? Under focus, right? What are you looking at? What are you looking at? Well, it's the economy, it's terrorism, it's cancer, it's poverty. This is how our entire society is crumbling. We see a problem and we focus and we create a war on the problem. Yes? We have a war on poverty. We have a war on terrorism. We have a war on, you name it, drugs. So when Mother Teresa was asked to march in a war against the Vietnam War, in a march against the Vietnam War, she said no. But when you have a march for peace, I'll be there. Don't tell me what you don't want. Tell me what you want. Don't tell me how tough it is to get through the gatekeeper. Tell me what you want and why. Focus on what you want. We're creating this underlying structure. By the way, if each of these 5 steps, creating this underlying structure, just increased your business or your health or your finances, your relationships, just 5% each, would that be a good thing? Right? What if I told you it was exponential? What if it's 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 times 5? Would that be a good thing? Right? What if it was 1%? That you didn't keep hitting that wall or falling in that hole over and over and over again. Make sense? Any of us could do this. And this is really what Take Shape for Life is all about. I thought it was about weight loss. Everybody go like this. By the way, how many people in this room have had success on the Take Shape for Life program? Right? So just, okay, and hands down, and just pounds. Ron, how many pounds lost?
33.
33?
48.
48?
106.
I'm sorry, what?
106.
106? How many pounds? Somebody else?
25.
Sherry?
30 and my husband 70.
70. Okay. So just in this room, and by the way, how many people have ever gone on a diet and lost weight? Okay? Well, don't raise your hands. I was going to say how many people gain the weight back. This is the, right, this is, what am I doing now? Say rocking chair. An oscillating structure. Every single diet is built on an oscillating structure because they're trying to fix a what? They're trying to fix a problem. The only way to have an advancing structure and create health in your life is, yeah, get to a healthy weight. But that's only the first step. Getting to a healthy weight is only the first step. And you don't have to see the whole staircase, Martin Luther King said. You just have to take what? The first step. It's peak to peak. You climb one peak, you get a peak of the next peak. It's far. It ain't far. It's one little step at a time. Action. This is where the rubber hits the road. And we're in the home stretch now. We're on third. You've changed your environment. You've changed your friends or you've changed your friends. Right? You're thinking different thoughts. You're focusing on what you want and why, not what you don't want. And now, my middle name, by the way, M, stands for Mumbo Jumbo. Self-help, pop psychology, mumbo jumbo. That's how I live my life. But it works. But all of the self-help, positive thinking, sit on a mountain and meditate, positive mumbo jumbo, if there was a light switch here and I wanted to turn on the light and I was going to meditate on flipping that light switch up, what if I just went over there and just took some stinking action and got off my ass and actually flipped the light switch up? Would it make a difference? Yes or yes? Yes. Would my results be different? So here's what it is according to Yoda. Any other geeks in the room? West Side geek. Here's what Yoda said. There is no try. There's only do or do not do. So Luke Skywalker, the young Jedi, is being assigned to lift his ship out of the mud. And Yoda says, all right, use the Force. Lift it up. And Luke Skywalker goes, and it starts to move, right? Holy shit. It starts to move. And then it goes, oh. And Luke Skywalker goes, I tried, but it's too big. It's far. It's too big. And Yoda says, judge me by my size, do you? Judgment. Thought. So Yoda goes like this. And Luke Skywalker says, I don't believe it. And Yoda says, that's why you failed. You have to believe it before you see it. You know that expression of the skeptic? See it when I'll believe it when I see it. Then you're going to keep falling in that same stinking hole. If you're going to wait to see it until you believe it, you're screwed. You have to believe it first. Thought, right? There is no try. What if I just tried to flip up the light switch? Would it still be dark? But I'm trying. My business coach tells me I have to meet 30 new people this month. Okay, how's that going? Well, I tried to call some people. Did you talk to anybody? Well, I left messages. I sent an email. I sent an email to 30 people. No. Your business coach said you have to go meet 30 people who you don't know yet, not send a broadcast email. But I tried. And we're a step away from home plate. Under results, write this down. There is no reality. There are only results. There is no reality. There are only results. When you get your blood work done and those numbers are high, is that real or is that the blank of your blood work? Those are your results. What was real is how you behaved the 6 months leading up to that blood work. That was real. To me, it's just ink on a page. And you have a choice with the ink on your page today. This could have been a jacuzzi experience. You ever been in a jacuzzi? While you're in it, it feels good. So jacuzzi, you know, he's funny. He has some nice jokes. His before picture looks, his after picture looks better than his before picture. I like his tie. Thank you. I was waiting. It could have been a jacuzzi experience. Or it could be a pivotal experience. A pivotal experience where you're walking down the road and you're like, it lands on you. And you just make a 1-degree pivot You know, an airplane from New York to LA is off course 90% of the time. Did you know that? It's off course 90% of the time. By the way, it's not an exact straight line, and the earth is moving, and the wind is blowing, and there's storms, and they're off course 90% of the time. So if you are here today, February 7th, and you just make a 1 degree correction today, 1 degree, a pivot, and we take that out 6 months from now, or 3 years from now, or 10 years from now, you lost 105 pounds in
34 weeks.
In 34 weeks, 36, 106 pounds, 106 pounds in 34 weeks. See, a human being cannot, and how long do your 40 pounds take you?
48.
48 pounds in how long?
I didn't count. May till September.
May to September. See, a human being can't lose 106 pounds. A human being can't lose 46 pounds. All a human being could do is the next time food is presented, make a healthy choice. And the next time food is presented, make a healthy choice. And the next time food is presented, are you one of those chiropractors that once I go, I always have to go? Yes. You mean once I start brushing my teeth, I'm always going to have to brush my teeth? Who showered today? Who's going to shower tomorrow? When are you done cleaning your physical, chemical, and emotional stresses off your life? When are you done? You're never done, unless you're trying to fix a problem. See, medicine is episodic. Medicine is fixing a problem. That's why it leads to more. Take out this page, third page, and we're in the home stretch. Oh, by the way, somebody's going to win a $50 TD Bank gift card today, too. How's that sound? Good? How about if it was a $5,000 gift card? Would that be better? Okay. It's only $50. I had to buy everybody lunch. Okay? So, here's our home stretch. It's called structural tension, and it's really called structural dynamics. Down here, current reality. In the box of current reality on the bottom, write my current weight. My current weight on the bottom. Don't write it down.
What if we don't know it?
Okay, good for you. My current blood work. Right? My current weight, my current blood work, my current BMI. Turn the page over to the BMI chart. Turn the page over. Turn the page over. Don't look at anybody else's. I know. If you have any muscle mass in your body, the BMI chart becomes a little nuanced, but for now, it's right on. Find your height, x-axis, y-axis up and down, right? The y-axis up and down, your height. Go across, remember Price is Right? The guy climbing up the mountain. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Stop. Circle your current BMI. Current BMI. You got a number? Should be between 19 and 35 or something like that, right? BMI is 19 to 35. Okay, turn the page over. We'll have more time to talk about this after. Okay? In the recovery movement, in the 12-step programs, they typically have a sign on the wall and it says, your best thinking got you here. Your best thinking got you here. So if you want to get from your current reality to the desired outcome, what are one of the things you got to change? Your thoughts, right? Maybe it's your environment. Maybe it's your thoughts. Maybe it's your focus on what you want rather than what you don't want. So many people say, well, I'm big boned. My mother was always, but it's my father. Right down here, MFTP. Mothers, fathers, teachers, preachers. Maybe you come from a tribe that always turned left. And you go to your parents and you say, I want to do this. Turn right. And your mom and dad and said, oh no. We come from a long line of people who turn left. We don't turn right. You thank them for their input and you turn right anyway. You leave the tribe. You don't offend people, you don't aggravate, you don't judge them, you don't get angry at them, but in where you leave the tribe. I left my tribe a long time ago. They don't know it, don't tell them. Okay? You could leave your tribe, but without offending anybody. So if you want your desired outcome up top, there needs to be 3 things. Right in the desired outcome, in the goal vision, this is an underlying structure for continual advancement. Who wants continual advancement? Raise your hand. Who wants to be stuck in the same frickin' hole every time? Okay? What if this changed your business just by 5%? Would it be valuable? Yeah. Right? 3 things. The desired outcome has to be a SMART goal. SMART goal. Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-based. Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-based. I want to be a linebacker for the Philadelphia Eagles on opening day next September.
That's not going to happen.
Thank you. It was specific, it was measurable, it was time-based. By the way, you know the basketball player Spud Webb or Muggsy Bogues? They were like 5'6". Allen Iverson, not 6 foot, even close. Played amongst the trees. Was dunking the basketball for Spud Webb or Muggsy Bogues realistic and reasonable and achievable to them?
Yes.
Don't ever take people's dreams away from them.
Amen.
Want more for them than you even want for themselves. But you're right, I got no shot.
No shot.
No shot. Because it's not achievable, realistic in my heart and in my head. It needs to be a SMART goal. Otherwise, you set yourself up for failure. It needs to be stated in the affirmative. The nervous system in the human body cannot understand the word no or don't. It doesn't comprehend it. So when you see a toddler running and you say, don't fall, don't fall, don't fall, what's going to happen? Fall. Don't think of a pink elephant right now. Freaking pink elephant, right? Once you see the baby in the picture, you can't not see the baby in the picture. So you have to have a focus on something positive. Here's how you write it out. I intend to be, not have, not do. We are not human havings. We are not human doings. We are human beings. It's be, do, have. You can't say, once I have the house, then I'll be happy. You can't do it that way. Success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. It has to be in the affirmative. I intend to be blank on or before blank. On, what if you make it early? What if you crush the goal? You going to quit? How many people have ever achieved the goal and said, is that it? You were on goal. You were not on purpose. Reaching the goal is a side effect. Losing weight is a side effect of behaving in a healthy way. Make sense? I intend to be blank on or before blank. By the way, are your goals my goals? No. No. And the last one, Simon Sinek, start with what? Why? 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 What would it mean to you when you attain it? What would it mean to people in your family? What would it mean to people, your colleagues? What would it mean? Viktor Frankl's book, Man's Search for Meaning. Nothing is good or bad but the meaning that we attach to it. It's just a judgment. So what would it mean? Why do you want to accomplish that in the first place? When the why is big enough, the facts don't matter. When the why is big enough, you'll figure out how. I believe that the highest calling of any doctor's office is to engage in a relationship where people behave in a certain way where they don't even need so much care in the office. I believe that the highest calling of any doctor's office is to engage in a relationship with people where they behave in a certain way where they don't even need so much care in the office. How many people go to a dentist? How many times when you leave there are you given the tool set of oral hygiene? If you knew why to brush and floss, you'd probably figure out what? How? If you don't know why to brush and floss, are you going to brush and floss? Nope. That's what Take Shape for Life is. Take Shape for Life is the dental floss and the toothbrush. It's the skill set, it's the tool set of creating health in our life. Do we need any more information to get this done? Just make it done, to eradicate obesity in our lifetime. We don't need any more information. We do need a little inspiration. See, motivation is when you get hold of a thought, when you're motivated, and you get hold of a thought, and you drive it, and you bust through walls, and you crush, and you step over people, and when you're motivated, nothing will stand in your way, right? When you're inspired, that's when a thought gets hold of you, and it takes you where you were destined to go in the first place. That's the difference between being motivated and inspired. Here's my board of directors, and we're done, okay? This guy, incredible focus. He says, when I'm a professional baseball player and I'm not picked by the Phillies, Dad, will you still come and root for me? I said, of course, when I'm picked by a professional baseball team. And this one is the most well-rounded person I've ever met. And she's chairman of the board. So, we're ending. Every slide presentation we do ends with this slide. The what? The beginning. I learned this, at least from my experiment, that if one advances confidently in the direction of his dreams and endeavors to live the life that he has imagined, he will meet with a success unexpected in common hours. He will put some things behind, will pass an invisible boundary, new, universal, more liberal laws will begin to establish themselves around and within him. The old laws will be expanded and interpreted in his favor in a more liberal sense. And he will live with the license of a higher order of beings. In proportion that he simplifies his life and creates an underlying structure for advancement, it didn't say that, the laws of the universe will appear less complex and solitude will not be solitude. Poverty will not be poverty, nor weakness, weakness. If you have built castles in the air, your work need not be lost. That is where they should be. Now put foundations under them. It's 1 o'clock. It could have been a jacuzzi experience or a pivotal experience. It's your choice. It is your choice. Everybody good?
Yep.
All right, Carol, you're doing it. You ready? Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, so thank you.